There's one dog, especially in my mind, named is Rue. I guess about coming up this August, it'll be 4 years now. Got a call about a dog down an animal on Duck Island. They didn't think it was a dog, and they weren't sure what it was. In the bushes, looked like it was in great difficulty. So I went down there, I met the person. She said, it's someplace back in the woods here. Walked in a bit, and I saw a head pop up, but I did not really know what it was yet. Got in through the bushes, and I found it was a dog, a female pit bull, just laying there. She was skin and bones. So I picked her up, and she couldn't stand. I was trying to see if she could stand, see if she'd take some water. She was throwing up water and everything.
When I was 18, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and severe clinical depression. So I was pretty much in and out of hospitals, a psych unit. I had no purpose in life, absolutely nothing. I wanted to die. I was driving down a back road one day and I saw a skinny little pit bull mix. And it took me a while to gain her trust. And once I did, I was like, oh my God, like this is like my purpose in life. This is what I'm meant to do.
When I first started here, I was a little amazed at the amount of animals that were running around in the city not being cared for properly. A lot of strays, a lot of bite cases, a lot of injuries, a lot of out-and-out abuse cases. Back also in those days, we had an adoption group that would help with the dogs, but our director at the time, they had a strict policy. After 7 days, if a dog wasn't out of here, gave them like 14 days, they may be euthanized. Now it's a lot better. We'll get them to rescue groups, we'll get them to adoptions, we'll find them a home. And we're fortunate that we've had good rescues and adoption people out throughout my career here.
The basic is they're either a surrender from a city resident in Trenton or they're found outside on the streets in the city of Trenton. That's how they end up there. The ones that are strays have to be held for 7 days legally so the owners can claim them and have the time to do it. The surrenders can be adoptable immediately. They are temperament tested prior to going up for adoption to evaluate them for adoptable dogs. Some are dog aggressive, and sometimes it's not true dog aggression. It could just be the situation, but those are still adoptable dogs. We just have to find the right situation.
We work with as many rescues as we do adoptions because we are a small shelter. So to me, I always say we got to keep the machine in motion so that we never get full. So if we can do a rescue, we're going to do a rescue. If we do the adoption, then we'll go that avenue.
The shelter gives them a connection with humans again and kind of resets them, I think. A lot of them have had awful experiences and have been so disappointed by human beings. So now they're in a shelter with a lot of other dogs. But the volunteers and the great ACOs that work at the Trenton shelter now are more friendly, caring faces that they see.
A lot of dogs that come in here aren't sure what's going on. You know, we have to coax them to get them when we're out in the street. And then we walk them slowly into the back. And then they start looking at what's going on around them. With the other dogs barking. Some like it, some don't. Again, we keep them here where it's safe. Then each day we'll work with them more. They get fed very well in the mornings. They'll get treats and everything in the afternoons. Then as they become more familiar with us and us with them, then you see them starting to cheer up a little bit. She said, okay, this place isn't too bad.
Some dogs come into the shelter and are unfazed. Despite what they've been through and how they've been treated, they're still happy-go-lucky and their personalities seem really intact. Others, you could tell, are still traumatized and very fearful. So those dogs in particular, I've seen them blossom
In the shelter because the situation there is better than where they were.
My dad used to be so mad. Like when we first started, he said, you have a limit of 7 dogs. That's it. Oh, it's funny. And then eventually it was 12, and then it was 22. After 22, he said, if you bring in any more dogs on this property, you're done. Speranza's out of here. Well, now we have 50, and he's like our biggest fan, so it's so cool. Our mission at Speranza is to take in the most abused, neglected, the ones that, truly deserve a second chance. We try to help the ones that nobody else will.
I love Janine. She is an amazing rescuer of everything. She rescues not just dogs, but every type of animal. In fact, she just brought home 10 ducks.
Welcome to Speranza, kids.
As a rescuer, you have your ups and downs, and you have good experiences, bad experiences, and I never felt like it tainted her in a negative way. And I'm sure she's been affected negatively. You can't not be when you do this. But it's never taken her off course from rescuing. And it's never been the focal of her conversation. It's always been about the dog.
I never thought I had a nurturing quality to myself, but I do. I don't think you have to have children to be a nurturer. And of course, Tino was available, and he was dumped by a breeder because he had a head injury of some sort. And they needed a foster for him for just a couple days until a rescue could take him. So I volunteered. I don't know what I was thinking because I knew I would fall in love with him.
She has a great heart, and I knew she would take care of him very well and love him, which she does. I mean, who takes their dog to work?
He helps morale tremendously around here. A couple of times a day, if I open my door, first chance he gets, he runs to my boss's office to see if he's there. Then make the rounds and go around and greet everyone. And he loves the attention, and his tail goes a mile a minute. And everyone just adores him. He's really a sweet dog, and I want Tino to be a good ambassador for his breed. There's so many misconceptions about pit bulls, and I hope that specifically is changing. I feel more people are opening their minds to the breed and to the bully breeds, and realizing that they're not the stereotypical crazy ghetto dog.
When you say bipolar, they're like, oh my God, she's crazy. And a lot of times when you say the word pit bull, they're like, oh my God, they're like dangerous. You know what I mean? So like, I kind of group myself as the dogs that we rescue. They're judged and mislabeled.
Like the lab is the #1 dog in America and has been for so many years. And when you get to know pit bulls, they're every bit, if not more, affectionate than a lab.
Before, I think we weren't getting people that were open-minded to just saving a dog. They had a specific breed in mind or a look in mind, which is very typical. Now I have people actually will ask me, especially people who have adopted and then come back, and they'll say, do you see a dog there that you think would be a good fit for me? And I think that's the way to approach it, because to me it's always about the dog first.
We're a forever home for those that can't be adopted. We have a couple lifers here, and as long as they're happy and can be handled safely by all the volunteers, this will be the home for the rest of their natural lives.
There is nothing like seeing a dog that was on the streets in Trenton trying to survive, don't know the circumstances that the dog had, but the dog is scared to death. So your job becomes making sure that dog knows it's safe, it's going to get taken care of, it's going to get fed, and it's going to get into a home or to a rescue so it never has to worry again. So when you see that finally happen, it's like my shoulders just release. It's like, it's like Christmas. I couldn't be any happier if it was me taking home the dog.
I was trying to see if she could stand, see if she'd take some water. She was throwing up water and everything. So I placed her in my vehicle and took her code 3 out to Cares Einhorn, where they took excellent care of her. one of the nurses there actually adopted her. And we keep constant touch with her. And the pictures of her today, as to the way she was 25 pounds when I found her. She was about a year and a half. She probably should have been about 50 or so. Today she's a big, healthy 65 pound pit living with our family, humans and dogs. That's the one story that I'll always remember.